If you've been watching for a while, you know that I have been covering that for the last 150 years or so, the closest thing that the United States has had to a guaranteed friend was Canada. And I've also covered how Donald Trump has flung verbal poo at that friend, and the friend isn't even bothered by it. In fact, that friend is thriving. And over the weekend, the Prime Minister of Canada stood right next to the leader of Ireland, looked right down the cameras, and basically announced that he's got a new group of besties. And they're hanging out in a new clubhouse, and the United States won't get the password to get in. Mark Carney, Canada's PM, said it flat out. The New World Order will be built starting with Europe. Not with America, starting with Europe. And he added, in the most Canadian flex imaginable, that Canada is the most European of non-European countries. Translation, it was gently delivered with a smile. We found better friends, and they live across the Atlantic.
Le nouvel ordre mondial se construira à partir de l'Europe.
Be built out of Europe.
Le Canada est le plus
Canada
européen des
is
pays
the most
non-européens.
non-European of European countries, and we are currently transforming our cooperation with the European Union.
And you have to remember, and my Canadian audience, you guys already know this, Carney is a calculated man. He doesn't speak recklessly like our leader. Carney is a central banker. He talks in spreadsheets. And to him, Canada plus the European Union, that maths. He pointed out that's more than double the population of the United States, with an economy that's roughly the same size and a combined defense budget twice the size of China's. Canada already became the first non-European country to join the EU's joint defense buying program. They've signed dozens of critical minerals deals across Europe, and Carney has set an open goal of doubling Canada's exports that don't go through the United States. And so you got to ask why. Why is our most reliable neighbor suddenly speed dating the entire continent of Europe? And unlike your friend Todd's relationship status on Facebook, it's not complicated. Down here, the man running the United States spends his mornings threatening allies, musing about annexing their lands, and treating every relationship like a shakedown that he can win. Eventually, the allies stop calling it a partnership and start seeing it as an attempt at a hostage situation. And Carney's line at Davos this year still stands out to me. If we're not at the table, we're on the menu. So he's doing what he should. Europe is strengthening. Canada is pulling up a chair. And this is genuinely wild for us Americans to watch, because for the first time in any of our lifetimes, the rest of the free world is openly organizing a future where the United States isn't at the center of it. And they are doing it because of one man, our own president, that made even being our ally, even being our friend, absolutely exhausting. And the timing on this trade fight makes it sting even more. I've told you previously that there's this review of the big North American trade deal coming up, and the fat orange slob in the White House has openly mused that he might just blow up that whole deal. So if you're in Ottawa, look at it from their side of the table. Your largest trading partner is simultaneously threatening to tear up the deal that ties your economies together and floating the idea of annexing your land and your neighbor's land in Greenland. At a certain point, you stop negotiating with the lunatic and you start disaster prepping with better friends. So Carney, he's doing the rational thing, like he has the whole time. He's reached out to the stable people. And together, 500 million people with a defense budget that dwarfs China's and a continent full of countries that, unlike the current US administration, will actually return a phone call without demanding some tribute. And Carney, he's making it work. And to me, the genuinely sad part of all of this is how reasonable the rest of the world is. Because every threat, every tariff, every "we'll just take Greenland" nudges the people who used to stand with us further toward standing without us. And I can't blame a single one of them. Carney is leading the reorganization of the planet. Think about that. Canada's PM reorganizing the entire world, doing it calmly, through peace, and building friendships. And right now, Donald Trump is making the United States find out what it's like to be the smelly kid in class. So do me a favor, comment below, especially our Canadian friends. I see the comments, I know they're sharp. But in reality, I want to hear from you. When Trump is finally gone, what would it take to get the United States back on your side?